Let's see. I'm just interested to see what OpTic is going to bring into this. They've had some time off since the minors, since they've got plenty of motivation with some disappointing losses in some of these events. This is a team that they definitely should be able to handle. I know there's some young talent on this team that people are excited to twist, see how he does with this kind of an opportunity. But still, you got to think that OpTic is heavy favorites. This is one of the maps as well that they beat Lounge Gaming on to make it into E-League. So they've had some success on this map in the past.
I think the thing to remember, though, is that out of all the two maps that were played in that set, Train was the one that they struggled quite a bit. I think it was on their T side. So considering that,
they'd actually never played it as a team going into that match, which is kind of funny.
Yeah,
and they won it anyways. So I mean, I'm sure they put at least a little bit of work into it, leading up to this, and you can tell by the B rush that's about to happen. Oh, look at this setup though from the defense.
Everybody's on the outside yard, so we'll have to see how it holds itself off, as Els is going to sit down below here too. Not even spotting it rolling down as of yet in the smokes, but Invert catching one inside of it. Now being heavily unloaded upon there, though. He's going to have to drop back down at 69 HP, looking for some more kills. Invert will be the one to pick it up, but they're slowly being wrapped a little bit here. More players trying to work their way outside of Z. It's just a chaos of fighting, but it looks like AGG are holding ground for the time being. They bring it down to a 4 versus 2. The final 2 players from OpTic are pushed back over here towards the bomb itself. They pick up 2 more, and now it's just Naf left alive as it goes down. And Naf's going to fall back. He's sitting up on top of Upper. They're just going to smoke the bomb up, and they do have a kit thing that's been brought into this pistol round. So Ocean going to go for the defuse, but he actually doesn't close it out. And Naf, after finding that kill, he's going to fall back. They re-pick up the kit. Goes for the initial tap. He's not stuck it. He's trying to close it on Naf, but actually no. Oh my goodness, that was the question. Does he actually have enough time to do it? And he's moving in with the knife.
Oh my lord.
Oh no, he got the defuse.
That's incredible. The timing. I don't know. Did Naf run out of bullets? I have to assume. Yeah, he did. He's down to just 2 bullets reloading when he hears the defuse click, so he's got to come back in with the knife. Just couldn't find him in the smoke quick enough. It hadn't cleared quite yet, so a miracle pistol round for AGG. That's insane.
So AGG started off strong and immediately go for the rifle investments into the second round. 3 FAMASas and a single M4 on Invert. Ocean is going to play over here towards Ivy with the UMP. A little bit of a different arsenal, and he's the one mainly armed up with the utility, but OpTic pretty late buy with the exception of Nav coming into this next round here. He's gone for the Deagle armor buy, but the rest of the players just going to invest in P250s. But already, actually, Nav has made a lot of progress. Like, he's already outside T connector, sitting over here in the short alley. So he's managed to get that position pretty well. I don't actually know if anyone from AGG has realized he's pushed up this far, but they have to have some idea. Meanwhile, elsewhere on the map, though, Els gets into a little bit of a battle with Daps. Shuts him down. A little bit of a cost to his own HP, down at 19, but still holding ground. Zoff to have not been able to move anywhere else besides that as of yet. But now Ruru, tries to shut down Nav, but ends up going the other direction. And Invert picking up some kills zone as he takes out Shazam, and some progress now being made by OpTic as Naf finds another kill. Invert shutting out 1, and the second kill there as Ocean finding a 3rd in between. They'll pick up the second round, but it'll be a bit messy, unfortunately.
I want to go back to that pistol round because, first of all, that was like a 2-on-4 at one point for OpTic. They should have never even been into that round. That was like some insane heroics in that 1-on-2, and it's just like unfortunate that he doesn't get the round win at the end, because really good effort. But I mean, that was a big goof for Team AGG to even be in that kind of a spot. They let it slip just a little bit. Either way, into this 3rd round, this is going to be interesting because Shazam has an AWP that's based on the knife that came out. That extra $1,500 allows an AWP to be dropped over to Shazam for him to work with. But he's not finding anything over the smoke just yet. Fires through it, lets him know he's got the AWP. 4 members outside for Team AGG. It's just Elsa at the inner bomb site right now.
The nade's going to roll in there. There's a little bit of damage to Shazam, but nothing substantial as the rest of AGG. They're actually sitting very far back. Very passive, too. As they already saw in that last round, it was Naf that pushed out over there to the left, and I don't think they actually realized that, so they lost quite a few players due to the confusion surrounding his push earlier on in the round. Now they sit back. Unfortunately, sort of for both teams now, it's the same story on either side, so it's going to be a sit-and-wait game, but OpTic will pick up the first strike as they'll take down Ocean, eliminating him, and now the rest of the team probably is going to get ready to make a take for the outside yard. They're all lined up for it. It's coming in through T-Con and ladder room, as you would generally expect. They've spotted Twists on the bomb train, but Ruru as well, falling back. Some good damage on the Stanislaw, and they'll be able to finish him off.
Yeah, they're giving OpTic a lot of space to work with, though. A very passive hold, just sitting back, holding their angles, and finally now it's working out for him. Twist grabs one under rush. Shazam hasn't been able to find anything since that opening kill, but now it's Daps' turn to get aggressive, and Twist just kind of loses track of what's wide open. And Daps is going to get a second one. That opens up the bomb site. There is still Ruru to take care of, but Shazam right through the smoke finds him. Good intuition, knowing where his previous location was.
I wonder what's behind this smoke. Oh, there's a player. So, go ahead.
It's just smart. I mean, that he knows that's the last known location. His teammates have fallen in that A bomb site. He's got two options. He's got to try and push through that smoke to make a play, or just kind of fall away, and he just takes the gamble, shoots through the smoke. So nicely done from Shazam, and good entries by Daps to really open that site up, force the issue. First round on the board for OpTic.
So OpTic, they'll strike back. AGG, with a little bit of money left over, could technically force up to the fullest extent if they want to, but wouldn't really be the wisest decision. So we're just going to see some upgraded pistols. A Deagle on twists, and Els will go for a 5-7. Beyond that, they'll just stick the default pistols. No armor investment or any utility at all coming into this round. So OpTic should have basically the entire cake as far as this round is concerned. But OpTic now sticking together, pressing forward. There's one nade kill. It's basically gotten two out of it. His Swiss is also extremely low. And they're just cleaning up shop at this point. Already 3 kills. The final 2, one still sitting on the inner bomb site. The other one trying to get close up for a bit of a ninja, but not going to happen.
This is looking like this might be, pretty standard setup for AGG. Is 4 members outside to stop a rush to begin with, and just Elsa going inner right off the bat. It's kind of what they've done every round, including the pistol. So that might be something that OpTic is going to start catching on to. Either way, this round is flawless. They're not going to lose any real money unless they go chasing. No reason for them to do that. So it is going to be 2-2. And OpTic now in a position, if they can win this next round, then they can start controlling the economy a little bit. It's going to be interesting to see what AGG decides to do. Elsa should have enough for an AWP, at least no armor, or if he wants to drop it over to a teammate. And he does have enough if that's the route he decides to go.
So for OpTic, however, Daps still armed up with the MAC-10, and actually probably going to stick with it considering how well things have sort of gone for him. No reason to waste that gun in all reality. Whole pistol getting traded around here and there, but OpTic's still pretty well off. And now AGG, though, they're going to get the guns in their hands. And I'm actually curious to see what they do decide to do with the majority of the roster for OpTic. They could just line up a default and try to use the MAC-10 somewhere either towards ladder and whatnot, where they're going to get a much closer fight. But it looks like... Actually, that might exactly be what ends up happening here. Is this smoke that comes in from the CTs, so they're going to be a little bit cautious, and they should be. As you can see, Els sitting up on top there. Els does not fire back as Daps goes for the opening gambit, but he's not going to connect anything either, so basically no harm done to either team.
But look at what this MAC-10 has done. It's just a MAC-10, and they know Daps has taken box halls control, and that forces Invert to rotate back. So automatically, just the presence of one weapon in those box halls forces a rotate, weakens the defense at the outer site. OpTic hasn't really been too aggressive to take advantage of it. They're giving Shazam a lot of time to work with over in that terrace connector. Now he's going to fall back, and they're going to line up some smokes for an execute, but just impressive how, that one little piece of map control gained by a MAC-10 has influenced that defense so much. I mean, even Twist is up top right now. Ruru playing close up behind this first train. He's going to have a big role to play. AGG is out of nades right now.
And Ruru is nice sitting up close. They're trying to take the duel with Shazam, but it's not going to pay off at all. Twist having to sit up on top here as well, inside of Heaven. He's just going to take his time with this one. Invert sitting inside of Z, and as Ocean picks up that first kill from outside of the Ivy tunnel there, now Invert's going to start to conquest out here a little bit. We see Daps also very close to the bomb itself. He could surprise quite a few of these players, and now Invert's going to move out to look for some kills, but Twist, he just hasn't pushed out here as of yet. Now he's finally going to do it, that he has a safe angle to do this from, but as soon as they try to move out, both Ocean and Invert just get destroyed, and then Shazam coming in with another kill there, takes down Els. Just Twist is the final player alive, and he has to fall back down the other tunnel here and try to keep this gun in his arsenal. He'll be able to take down Stanislaw. Should probably be able to keep the gun here too, but OpTic are going to pick up the round and the lead here.
Well, and Rush is on a little bit of a chase. He's just going to sit here and wait and see how far Twist goes. He's going to walk right into his crosshairs, and Rush is going to find the kill. Nicely done, jumping down. Twist cannot save the gun. Back onto the save rounds for AGG, 3-2. Really cool usage of Shazam with that AWP that round. He just stays back in Terrace Choke, provides support, watches the train alleys for any kind of aggressive counter terrace on the retake, and picks 1 or 2 off throughout the round. So OpTic Gaming looking good so far, now forcing an eco out of AGG.
OpTic proceeding pretty much as planned here into this next round. Pretty straightforward strat, and actually Rush already picking up a first kill, but he sticks around for too long as there was 3 players that pushed up over towards the ladder room. However, that first kill really not going to matter in the grand scheme of things, as you can see from the kill feed. OpTic just closing it out here. There's another kill from Ocean, actually at a pretty long range, as that nade was tossed out just a little bit too late to stop him from picking up the kill. Ultimately, OpTic are going to lose 2 of their players. Not a big deal at the end of the day, as AGG are not really, or AGG I think is they're actually called, not really going to be able to pick up too much in response to that. And OpTic still hold a pretty good lead. Also, for the most part, these kills on the T side, if it's only like 2 of them, can be forgiven. It's much easier to stack up that economy on the T side.
And we do have a small pause coming out as a disconnect from AGG. Only 4 players in the server. And here's the tough spot for AGG now is because they bought 2 rounds ago, and they were very, very light buys with, M4s, very light utility. Now they're in this awkward spot where actually Invert's got enough money to get the AWP and armor. But outside of that, I mean, it's all, you can't really go for that AWP and have a lot of utility behind it. So it was kind of very scary spot. If Invert had come in with like 5,000 like the rest of them, and then they would have been in a very weird money situation. But either way, they've got to stop this this momentum from OpTic at some point, because the money's built up as well. DAP's sitting at right around 10,000. Shazam has 11,000. Plenty of money built up for OpTic to survive a little bit of a losing streak.
Speaking of Shazam too, the reason he stacked up so much money is just because, well, he's barely ended up going down. I think he's only died twice. Just checking the scoreboard. So he's actually been sitting back and has been a very consistent player as far as just making sure he keeps his composure and doesn't sort of overreact to the situations that are happening as far as pushing forward is concerned. So he's been alive at every single victory here from OpTic so far, and as we've seen in the past, he's sort of leading the charge for his team. Everybody actually doing a pretty fantastic job on OpTic at this point, just looking purely at the kill feed. But now everybody sits at the back of the B site, and they're going to get ready for a quick push over here towards Inner, as Invert along with Els have to try and hold this. And mainly Els now got to catch it. Good spray initially as he transfers it. Picks up 2 as he drops both Stanislaw and Rush. Unfortunately loses his teammate over there towards upper as Naf was able to pick him up. So he needs to fall back to the bomb train and play things a little bit more passively until reinforcements arrive.
Man, this is a sick round from Elsa. Very good movement. Gets those first 2 kills. Now he's just playing solid defense. No one enters the bomb site. The bomb is the lower ramp, and Elsa is just going to chase him down, it looks like. Although Naf does get away, and all 4 members are at the center bomb site. If Naf can get out to the outer train yard very quickly, now he can hold off this choke point for the rotation. Going to get on top of the train. Looks like a boost is going up for the counter terrace. There is 2 there, but there goes Ocean. And the op from Ruru at the other angle. It's going to make it work out. So AGG survives with 3 members alive. OpTic going to buy right back into this, though. With all that money built up, Shazam right back on the AWP, and they still have a pretty decent amount of money left to work with.
Now as we take a look at what exactly OpTic will be trying to push forward for in this round. Like we saw before in quite a few of these previous rounds, they've been very straightforward attempts at taking control of bomb sites. We haven't seen anything super duper dynamic just as of yet of the team. So this time, it's actually looking similar to this as they set up just a default now. Nafla's going to hold back a little bit here, just in hoping there would be some aggression coming out from Ocean or someone else from the members of AGG pushing out towards Ivy, but it's not going to happen. And they'll just be wasting some time here initially, but some very aggressive positions also being taken up by AGG. There's Els. He tries to push towards upper, but he's shut down by Rush. He's off there waiting for this exact thing to happen. Now, though, Twist moves up just outside of T-Connector, and Ruru's also inside of the ladder room, so it's going to be a little bit chaotic if OpTic still decide to go directly for this default setup.
The AWP is rotated on Invert towards that inner bomb site to just watch from afar. Smoke's going to come down, and that's going to force a rotate. Oh, look at how hard they're biting on this. Twist and Ruru both coming towards the bomb site. Twist realizes now that he's been pulled out of too far out of position, rotates back towards the outer train yard, but still no commit anywhere from OpTic. Finally, we're going to see the smokes come up. The wall of smokes right around that outside bomb train. Here comes the execute. Twist trying to delay things by just chucking out some flashbangs. But OpTic taking it very cautiously.
They're still expecting an Ivy push, too. You can see Ocean just sitting back right now, expecting some late entry to come in towards Ivy and to catch him off guard. That is not happening. Now let's see as they get the plant. They don't actually take full control of the bomb site, but it doesn't even matter because of how far back the members of Team AGG are. They're just playing this so passively at this point. Now they need to pick up kills left and right, but they've given OpTic so much room to breathe. Twist moving forward, as is Ruru here, but he's going to be out in the open. Doesn't matter, though, as he picks up a first kill. Thankfully, Dap's able to find the trade quickly enough. And then Shazam peeking out from T-Connector, shutting down Twist. kills. Now this is where those dug-in positions come in perfectly for OpTic, as Naf shutting out Ocean. Invert is going to get at least one more kill picked up here against Rush, but he's caught in his attempt to fall back behind the green train. Daps will pick up the final kill of the round, and OpTic will put another point onto the board.
Yeah, it's just that over rotation from AGG. Right when that one smoke came in towards the lower ramp, it pulls two players out of position, and by the time they rotate back, they're stuck behind the smokes already. And even if you try and get onto the bomb train and find that angle where you can jump over the smoke and try and pick one off at E-Box before they get to the site, I mean, OpTic's already streamed out. They're already holding that angle. It's just too dangerous for it to work. So OpTic basically get a free post-plant situation off of one smoke being thrown down that lower ramp.
And Daps goes for the peek back over there towards the T ramp on the B site. Unfortunately, caught in a nasty surprise, only able to trade out one of those kills. Not a lot of intel gained for that play by AGG, however, and you can just take a look at the damage that is done to the two players. Ooh, that was also there as Naf finds a nice little one tap there to shut down Ruru as they attempt to peek out towards the outer yard now. There's no luck at all on this light save round coming out now from AGG, as they're not really able to pick up anything at all. They've dropped Daps, of course, because they completely overwhelm him, but that's about it.
Now it gets into a little bit of a sketchy spot. Twist has plenty of money, but you've got three members below 4,000. Invert's right at 4,100. You've lost a lot of rounds, so it's a really tough call to make. And actually, they're gonna pause it, but it really,
it's already a buy.
Yeah, it almost doesn't matter because Twist just bought up. Now, well, here's the thing: you still have 1,600 left. So if he doesn't buy anything else from here on out, it's still an awkward situation, but you can manage having not everyone buy here, going forward with just the one M4. But they're almost at the point where there's too many rounds built up by OpTic on the T side that they have to just start buying to just try and get some rounds on the board. They need more than where they're at right now. And once OpTic gets towards 8-9 rounds, it's kind of already too far gone.
Yeah, and I like, honestly, if the rest of the team just decided to save, I don't really think it would be a good choice. Twist has already gone in, regardless if it was a mistake on his part or not. I mean, he's bought. The rest of the team should buy with him, even if they are a little bit lower, because now the problem becomes if he goes into the next round, he's going to be weaker off here. And that M4 is, if it gets dropped really enough, like if he plays too aggressive of an angle and he's shut out within the first couple seconds of the round by OpTic and they can't scavenge it, that's basically going to be a useless gun gone on the floor, and he's going to have a very, very weak buy going into the next round, even with the losing bonus stacked up. But it looks like, again, that was a mistake on Twist's part to go for the full buy. So the rest of the team is just going to invest in some upgraded pistols, and everybody except for Invert as well is going to buy up armor behind it.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of forced to put a little bit of effort into the round, aren't you? Once Twist buys that M4, you got to at least go for the armor, the pistols. So a small mistake.
And Invert's going to push back over here towards Ivy, but the instant headshot coming in there from Naf stops that from really going anywhere. And now Ruru is going to try to counter it out. Twist actually did find the first kill with that M4 as he pushed over there into the back B area and looking for another one too. He's testing it a little bit now as he goes up against Rush, and he's actually winning it, catching him. It's going to be Ocean that comes up on top of the ladder and finishes him off. So the play ends up working. Of all things we would expect it to work, it pays off here. And now Ruru as well inside of the smoke. This could be a peculiar play, because if he peeks this at the perfect time, he's going to catch Naf, but no, that doesn't happen. I wasn't looking at Naf's perspective, but that's a great headshot that he picks up over on towards Ruru. And now OpTic have a chance to swing this back into their favor once again too.
Still a lot of time, though. I mean, they're over at this bomb site very quickly. Elsa, that one kill is going to indicate they're definitely going to be going for this. Shazam's got to fall back and find a little bit of cover while being able to keep his eye on the bomb. Naf, meanwhile, has been spotted. He's over towards Old Hell. Nade comes out, but there's Shazam. Covers him nicely. Elsa falls. Bomb's in full view. Now it's smoked off. Now it's going to be a little bit tough, but no kits on the board. No one's on the defuse. So Naf can play this a little bit slow, and he's readjusting his position. He finds Twist out in the open, but it's going to be a nice win on that duel. Twist.
Actually, they don't have enough time. Ooh, it's going to be close. No, not happening. Oh, that's so unfortunate, especially considering how well Twist performed in that round. He even picks up the op. He knew, though, that it was going to blow up, so he picked up the op and he ran for the hills, so they saved that at least, but still another round for OpTic at the end of the day goes onto the board.
That's sick. I mean, Twist, that buy works out nicely. It's like a pet peeve of mine on those buys where one member has a rifle. When you see Invert with the pistol just kind of rush alley, it's like if you have a rifle, let the rifle initiate the action. But Twist still has a fantastic round behind that with 3 kills total. Yeah, and you're right. And salvages the AWP. That makes up for the fact that he was going to have a lower buy than everyone else.
And now we see the big investment coming in on this round with the up included on Invert here, and he's, again, super aggressive. AGG are like not afraid to get aggressive with these buys at all, so Invert's going to push over towards back B with the op. He does find a player that's actually going to run for the hills as soon as he misses his first connection, so moves away from this one. Elves will support it, but OpTic, not really any follow-up to that, as most of their players are sitting around the kitchen area up in the back B halls.
Again, a very passive setup in OpTic Gaming, taking this slow and cautious. It's only Shazam. I mean, just like he's been doing this whole time, he's like AGG's letting him have free reign in this terrace choke to just grab an angle, switch it up, you know, be very, very patient, allow someone to walk into his crosshair eventually. No nades, no smokes to block off this choke point, nothing to make Shazam feel uncomfortable whatsoever. And now comes the execute. Wall of smokes is up. Shazam's going to grab his angle down the train lane. He finds Ocean from far away. There's the op from Invert, equalizing things though. And Shazam's going to get on top of the train and just hold that angle. Knows exactly where Invert is.
It's another one of those situations, though, where they go for a hasty plan without clearing out the CT, so they're going to be up close here to try and go for the defuse. However, Dash is holding the bomb train like an absolute champion. 1, 2, 3, and following it up with a fourth, but coming in with some assistance from Shazam there. OpTic shut it down, and now they have an absolutely huge lead for T-Side Train.
All right, Daps. Calm yourself. That's pretty sick stuff. Daps has come to play here tonight. 13-6. Naf is at 13-5. Just a solid match so far out of OpTic Gaming. 8 rounds, and they're not letting. I mean, AGG really hasn't even been able to string too much together. They win the pistol in the second, and then later on they win the seventh, and that's it. No gun rounds strung together, so the economy has just been in shambles this whole time. They get a tag with a deagle onto Shazam initially, but this time Stanislaw is here to back him up. You could see this defense, this upgraded pistol buy slowly encroaching towards the choke point, but the AWP is going to win at that range all the time. Drops twist as well. Now going to use the top of this smoke to try and find one more.
Shazam holding back, hoping that smoke there is going to attract some attention from the members of AGG, and he's right about it, but Ocean being very, very patient doesn't actually end up going for the full peak, and instead rotates himself a little bit closer over here towards the ladder room. Another bit of a battle with Ruru there. He's got the CZ jumping on top of the train, hoping to find Shazam, but it doesn't end up happening. Ocean, though, has much better luck over by the ladder room itself. Takes down Rush as he tries to jump his way down there, and now it's evenly traded, but Daps, again, trying to swing it back into the control of the terrorists. And for another shutdown, almost taking out Ocean there. Has him very low, but he's not peeking out fully, so we can't actually execute him just as of yet. Now, though, they're moving into this outside yard. Ocean's way out in the open there. That shuts him down. Now follows it up with a second pickup on Ruru. Now the only one left alive is Els, and he's fully committed to the inside yard, so there's not a whole lot he's going to be able to do.
There's basically nothing. Long-range battles against AKs and an AWP with this P250, that's not going to be a fun time, and in fact, he might just want to try and find an angle and a choke point and hope that someone exits his way. Maybe goes hunting, can salvage a gun off of it, but OpTic isn't going to let that happen. Everyone playing far back, just playing the bomb wisely. So it's going to be 9-3 for OpTic, and they're coming out in a big way here. This is a sick match from them so far, a sick first half.
And it's only going to build more and more as we get later into these rounds. AGG, they'll go for another buy, but ultimately it's going to be about stopping that pressure situation. I think you've mentioned it a couple times here too. They're leaving far too many angles open here for OpTic to just press in. We're not seeing smokes coming out towards T-Connector and whatnot in a lot of these rounds. And oftentimes when they do, they get way too over-aggressive with it, try to play these close quarters angles. And OpTic are almost always going to be the ones to win those initial 1v1s. They need to try and find better angles initially against their opponents when they go for the takes to try and stop it. Because otherwise they're just getting shut down round after round here.
Part of it is they haven't had a great economy. They haven't been able to afford all the smokes and Molotovs. This is really the first time they've been able to have a really, really solid buy. I mean, there's 5 smokes, there's 2 Molotovs, there's 4 kits on the board, there's the AWP on Invert, so they have everything that they could possibly want into this round to make a stop here. But even if they do, it's almost gotten too far out of hand.
And Invert sitting back to smoke. Roll back in there now. Finally, the smoke comes in towards T-Connector, so not a whole lot that Shazam is going to be able to do early on in the round unless somebody goes on top of the train. And ooh, there's Ruru moving up, gets some good damage on Shazam. They find that's the other thing too, is that Shazam, it hasn't been like he's been playing the op from a different position over there in T-Connector every time. He's always been on top of that one box trying to take pot shots. And finally, Ruru catches onto this now. Almost manages to take him down completely, bringing him down to 4 HP, but at the same time, he's not going to be very careful as he presses forward. Stands on the other side. If they get too aggressive, At the same time, Shazam at this point in time not even actually peeking out towards it. That's actually, oh, no, apologies, that bounces the other direction. I thought it went inside. But that's a great molly to force standout, but not actually going to end up missing or hitting.
Ruru and Twist are playing very aggressive though out in mid. They were playing very close up to these choke points. Twist at the E box. Ruru is behind that first train, but they just call it off as they've run out of smokes, run out of Molotovs. It's just invert with one, and he's towards the inner bomb site. So without those nades to block off the choke points, they get a little bit more passive, and OpTic Gaming has just been waiting this out. They have plenty of smokes to work with, plenty of Molotovs when they want to do this execute, and here it comes. This is just what they've been doing basically this whole half, waiting around to eventually do an A execute. And it's this standard execute, wall of smokes, and the defense is going to have to be mounted by Twist and Ruru. Ruru does get the first one before being traded off. There's Shazam still in T-choke. He's trying to cover his teammates, but he only has 4 HP. He's got to be cautious.
Twist is going to try to circumnavigate these players too. He picks one up. They left that little mid aisle there open for business, so quite a few kills have already been mounted from that as AGG now pushing in. This is again that problem. They went for the hasty plan, and you can just look at Nav's perspective. He's looking every which way, trying to shut this down. There's nothing they can do. The coverage was nowhere near as good as previous rounds, and AGG actually are going to have a fairly simplistic retake this round due to that.
Yeah, once again, it's Twist putting in some work. He's at 9 and 10, so is Invert 9 and 11. But that round is all Twist. 3 kills on that retake. But still, just too much money has been built up by OpTic. It's going to be a buy right back into it, and if the rest of this half is any indication, they're just going to reset the economy. But the big change-up for AGG, if they want to get up towards 6, this double op setup has got to work.
Now everybody from OpTic pushing over here to the back B halls once again. Someone is getting aggressive. You can see Invert, but he didn't even notice. Sitting just below him was Naf, and that's going to completely catch him off guard. He was hoping they'd still be in white halls at that point. That's going to end up messing them up now, as they still only have L's to defend this, despite spotting like 3 or 4 players inside of the back B halls. They're just now starting to rotate everybody over there, and it's just too late. Everybody trying to get to a defensive position from AGG. There's nothing they can do about this. Roro, at the very least, is going to win a 1 versus 1, taking on Naf, but now they can even get into this bomb site to begin a retake.
Yeah, no, that push at the upper ramp just gets slaughtered. And from there, everything just collapses around them. Good call to save, though, here from Ocean and Ruer. They're the only two who won't be able to buy in the next round if they lose these weapons. As long as they survive, that should be virtually another full buy for AGG. But it might be too little too late. This is a really nice half from OpTic. Very, very far ahead. They're about to be up towards 10 on a CT-sided map.
Yeah, assuming this doesn't completely turn around now for the members of AGG, and they can at the very least try and pick up this final round. If OpTic gets started with the pistol round, I do not see AGG being able to pull an impressive enough T-sided half to mount the comeback that large. Especially when you consider, reputationally speaking at least, just how huge the gap is between these two teams.
Back to a double op setup, though. So it doesn't work that time. Invert got aggressive, gets punished for it. Maybe this time a little bit more passive. He is going to go inside once again with Elsa, but it looks like more than likely they're just going to set up a stack at the lower ramp, just try and pick one off and fall away. They're going to get their opportunity. 2 members of OpTic are here. They do at least get a trade. Daps grabs one, and he gets a second one. Invert goes for a repeat. This gives a lot of space. Daps can just push in. He knows he's killed all the defense here, and now he can push up at these train lanes, and he's beaten the rotation. It's just Twist who's come back. That smoke is going to force him to be very, very passive, though. Ruru's on a big flank, though. And this is going to be insane. OpTic's not suspecting this whatsoever. Nade out, gets 1 kill. The second one jumps by him. Ruru's got to win this fight, and he's not able to do it. Shazam does drop him. The remaining 2 CT members, Twist and Ocean, are far back at the center bomb site.
It kind of sucks to see Ruru, because looking at him a couple months ago, and actually we're not going to call this as of yet, the members of AGG might have a chance as of yet to win this round. However, here comes Stanislaw on the flank, and he's going to be able to close things out. But going back to my point, it's pretty unfortunate for Ruru, because when he first sort of jumped into some of the pro teams last season, as he was hopping around a little bit, I was expecting him to do much better, because when he was playing like premier level and main level teams as of a couple months ago, like back towards the summer of last year, he was actually, I was hopeful for him to do really well in pro, but ever since jumping up here to Pro League, just haven't seen all that much from him, unfortunately, and that's a bit disappointing in my own regard.
Yeah, he's been bounced around on a couple teams that haven't been the strongest, so that might be part of it. There is kind of a large disparity from the top of the North American Pro to the bottom 3 or 4 teams. And this one is just looking like it's going to end up being a stomp. Look at Daps, 18 and 9, having a really good game. Naf as well, 17 and 8.
So now for Team AGG, most of their players, again, just pushing through the bathroom at this point over here, heading towards the inside yard. As it looks like they will continue towards that. Definitely not going to be a chance to just throw in smokes or whatever and try to fake it out. And OpTic, I think, have already read this too. They've got plenty of players, already 3 in this site. There's Shazam, already taking down one of these guys. There's some good damage coming out of it. They're trying to group up and just outnumber the remaining members of OpTic. And Twist is going to be able to pick up one, but then Dots and Shazam get that great crossfire. Els trades that back out and takes down Shazam, but again, kills coming in way too quickly for the CTs. It's down to just one left alive from AGG, and he too will be dispatched by Rush. Flank from Naf, not even really necessary, and they easily have enough time left for this defuse. So OpTic will continue the lead on the CT side, and AGG will continue to fall further and further behind.
Daps can do no wrong in this map so far. He's had some sick rounds as Terrace, and that time he gets caught wide out in the open in like the middle of the upper ramp, like a quarter of the way down upper ramp. No cover for him to find, and he lands just a really sick headshot, very small pixel shot to take. So he's feeling it, obviously. Going to be on the MP9. With that bomb plant, AGG's looking for that next round, the third round of this half, to buy the AK-47s. Not going to upgrade to the armor in Tech 9.
And now from Team AGG again, the strategy continues to press itself directly forward. They did actually get the plan in that previous round for those that missed it, so it's going to be a light buy, mainly just the Glocks. Hell's invested into a P250, so he'll probably follow up and try to finish off any damage that was dealt by the Glocks themselves. If not, though, then the force bar will come in on the third round, and that's basically going to be the all-in from AGG. If they don't win it there, they're on a save again, or at least another Tech 9 round. And if OpTic can close out that one, it's basically GG from that point. So there's Daps already picking up one. He's going to try to overwhelm him. There we go. There's the kill from Els now to find the trade. He actually didn't pick up a second. So Shazam moving in now. He's going to be able to do some work along with Stan. It's actually almost ends up being a team ace there. The only player that doesn't end up getting any action is Naf. But it's still just an overall cleanup. AGG can't find any kills at all when the combat starts. And that's been the problem, not just on this half, but the other half as well.
They didn't invest too much, though. I believe they only had like a smoke and a flash, and they get a plant out of it. Kill doesn't really matter, but they do get the plant. So they can have 5 really strong AK-47 buys. They can even go for an AWP with no armor if they choose to go that route. So those 2 plants are really giving a lot of options to work with. And they're going to go for the 5 AKs, and look at all the utility they have on this third round. That's sick. 5 smokes, 4 Molotovs as well. There's not much more you can ask for in a third round.
Now AGG, we'll try something a little bit different this time. I say different, but still fairly predictable from a strategical standpoint. Probably just going to try to set up a default here. But the problem is, if Ruru proceeds towards Ivy, he's going to have to catch Rush early, as he's sitting up on top of the smoke. They're even going to re-smoke it now, too. And it might be something he just won't end up catching, and if so, Rush gets the easy kill, and that's already one of the big angles that is completely shut down, and AGG won't be able to use it for the rest of the push.
Very passive setup from AGG, watching for any kind of a push. You can see Ruru's almost afraid that someone's going to be pushing Ivy. An invert and twist initially towards Whitehall's. They were right above ladder, and they're just going to fall away. They're going to walk all the way back around towards T mid. No pressure put on towards the inner bomb site. We saw in the first half a lot. OpTic was taking control of those box halls, making their presence known there to force a dedicated rotate. You can see when you don't do something like that, you get what Shazam's doing, which he's able to play in connector. He's able to just shoulder peek, very mobile between the 2 bomb sites. And here comes that execute towards the outer site. Wall of smokes are lined up, but there's a gap. Shazam can see if anyone tries to plant. No one commits quite yet, though. It's a delayed commit, and Rush is going to get that first kill.
Shazam is actually, you can see it now on the screen, he's got a little bit of an angle to peek through. However, look at the molly actually is going to connect now, and he has to give this up, falling back. And AGG are making some great impact kills to start this one off. Shazam peeking out, but he's taking a whole lot of damage, down to 24 HP, and now it's just Daps, as they did just push right in there to find that kill on Shazam. They've taken him down. Daps on the rotate is going to be far too late. AGG with a great, just sort of overwhelming play to move into the A bomb site. There's really nothing left for the final player in OpTic to do.
That's pretty crazy. And that's just it looked like OpTic had a pretty decent setup going on, and it just collapses. So nicely done from Ruru with a double kill. Dap's going to try and save this gun. He does get an exit kill. The money on the T side is not built up, so any kill that Daps can find here at the end, he's going to get plenty of opportunities. That's huge. He's going to get one more. He knows one more is coming from the same spot, trying to pre-fire the angle, out of bullets, pulls out the USP. He's going to win that battle as well. Now he knows he's got one coming behind it. There's just nothing more he can do, but that's huge. Getting those 3 kills there at the end, keeping the economy low, and that actually might make OpTic decide to go for a buy here. And Stanislav snaps off the FAMAS. Here come the M4s. So OpTic doesn't want to give up the advantage just yet.
Ocean won't even have any utility now because he's because of the way that this ended up going. Twists obviously still has quite a bit to work with here because they managed to keep the AK rolling for the previous round, but the rest of the team, look at this now. This is horrendous in terms of what they have just to clear out players of OpTic that are in center positions. They've got smoke so they can make their attempt at a strat, but HE's, Molly's, none of that really being seen here from AGG, and that's going to hurt now, especially if OpTic can pick up some kills early on with aggressive movement.
Just daps towards the inner bomb site, but still AGG in this very, very spread out default. Same setup they had last time. One member towards Ivy, one member towards mid initially, 3 towards Whitehalls, but last time eventually 2 players fell back. This time they're going to take control. Daps is going to hear all this, and he's only got a CZ, so this time Shazam's got to play a little bit more dedicated towards this inner bomb site. He shifts over towards that upper ramp. So a little bit farther away from rotating to bail out any kind of outside bomb site execute.
Now again here, AGG have got to make that decision. Have been met back with a little bit of aggression coming in from the CTs over on the B site. There's a couple smokes and whatnot have been tossed in to try and hold them back, but it still looks like they're gravitating towards that. The problem is going to be, and they don't know it as of yet though, is that they've got those 2 players from OpTic sitting very close to the ladder room, and they can very easily line up a flank which can be executed at any time. However, sort of as a counter to that, though, Naf is also fairly heavily committed to watching towards Ivy. This is a good thing, though, because then you take a look at Ruru. He's also there, but they're going to leave that open now as they catch the play coming in towards this site. So that flanker over there could still make some pretty good progress, that being Ruru. But the trades begin. Daps takes down Twist, and Els will drop Daps. So now Shazam's actually going to make a pretty aggressive movement here, too. Invert, the mistake to go for the jump actually ends up costing him his life. That's now brought down to 3 members left here from AGG.
The flank from Ruru, though, could be so huge. He's not revealed himself just yet. He's got to do it soon because he has a teammate already fall. He does long range, but he misses the kill. Now he gives it up. He does find Nap, but it's a 1-on-3, and he's got no eyes on the bomb. This should be an easy defuse. There's no kit, but that shouldn't even really matter. Ruru's just going to bail out. He's going to give it up. 14 rounds for OpTic, and they reset the economy of the terrorist side. Nicely done from OpTic on that retake.
And that's going to put them in a prime position now to take control of this map. AGG, they'll have one more semi-decent buy, and they're probably going to make the choice to go for it here. Just taking a look at what they have now. Quite a few of their players still are going to be, actually, no, they're going to go for Tech 9s instead. I would have thought they still would have been able to afford rifles, but they want to try and save some money, it looks like. So Tech 9s for the most part. Ruru is going to be the only player that actually has the AK and Twist with the CZ. OpTic armed up to the teeth. The only thing they're missing is an Op on Shazam, but out come AGG. They're just going right for it now. They're going to be able to hear Twist pushing through, but there's no punishment. Perfect flash for Twist. Completely botches the spray. An entire clip and not a single shot's connected. Awkwardly has to run in that corner and try to survive, but already now there's 2 kills coming out from OpTic. Els traded 1 more, but Naf just doing work coming back over through Ivy there. Ruru trading out 1 more with that AK, but it might be a little bit too late to do some work. I take that back. Ocean lining up a counter flank, takes down Naf, and now Ruru trying to peek out. He's shut down by Shazam, and it's just Ocean lined up with a 1 versus 2.
Does find that first kill, and he does have the bomb in 1 minute and 10 seconds to work with, so plenty of time to make something happen here. And he's going to play some mind games. He's going to let Daps sweat it out. He's taking a very long route, going all the way towards Ivy from T-Choke. So Daps is going to have to get into a little bit of a better spot. There's a certain timing that Daps is starting to get that inclination. You can see him finding some cover where he can rotate back and forth, kind of swivel each way, and he does peek out towards Ivy, and this timing could be perfect so long as he holds this angle. And Ocean, he walks out just as Daps aims at the train where it's not possible for Ocean to come from. So Daps takes his eye off the ball for just a second, and Ocean takes advantage of it. Nice one-on-two, victory for Ocean. 14-6 now, and OpTic is going to be forced onto a save. So still not able to grind it out quite yet. Plenty of rounds to work with, though.
Kikona. So now for AGG, a very, very long battle still to make this comeback happen. But OpTic have finally broken themselves now economically. Nothing left. P250s, just a couple upgraded pistols here. I expect a big group up to try and counter out some aggressive movement from AGG. But AGG are still going to stick to this slow type of play they've been using in the previous rounds.
Yeah, I mean, they're just making sure that they don't get any kind of aggression, just screws them out of a round. They're playing this so incredibly safe. The big thing now, too, is, I mean, still, it goes back to just a couple rounds ago where they lost those 3 guns in the chase. Their economy is still weak. You can see everyone's below $700 except for Invert. So this is another round where they just can't afford to take a whole lot of damage. So good that they're being cautious, and where do they decide to go eventually? The bomb is right above the ladder. Invert's watching the flank on ladder with the bomb, so he's just making sure that he'll have a quick rotate towards either the inner or outer bomb site, whatever his team chooses.
And Stan, gonna head up that ladder. You take a look at Invert. Okay.
Why not? Alright, well, Blue's broken. In the meantime, OpTic is just gonna fall apart at this outer bomb site. Rush is gonna be on top of the train. He does get cleaned out, so I don't know what happened to Twist. He gets wrecked. He falls to his death. He plummets.
I'm sorry.
That's yeah, man. Have some fun with it. Tell me what you think of that play, Blue.
I don't know. I didn't pay attention to the rest of the round after I saw that spray attempt on the steps, and then Twist somehow. I think he died from fall damage, right?
Yeah, he did. Oh yeah.
Jesus. All right.
Why not?
So AGG wins that round, and they're still in this. Only at the unfortunate part though is that, like, they're only at the halfway point. So it's like, yeah, we're up to 7 rounds, but now you need to do 7 more just to tie it, and then you need 2 more on top of that to win. It's usually the, like, over-mounting factor that comes into play with these types of matches. However, for OpTic now, they're going to go for the OK investment of this one. Got the Scout sitting on Stan, a couple other players going for their upgraded $500 pistols, and Shazam's actually going to go for a Deagle buy too, so we'll see how that plays out.
Still this very, very slow, cautious setup. Not wanting to risk anything whatsoever. It's an inside stack this time from OpTic Gaming. It's just Daps at this outer bomb site. And this really doesn't matter early on in the round because it's just taking so long for AGG to really commit anywhere on the map. So no fast play we've really seen out of them quite yet in this half. And the good thing about that last round, now we can start to see they only lose that 1 member to the fall damage, but you can see the bank starting to build up a little bit. So if they do start to make this comeback, they can afford to suffer some losses moving forward in the later stages of this half. I mean, as long as they get out of this one, you know, scot-free, the smoke is going to go down on that lower ramp. No one from OpTic is even going to move. 5-7 spotted out on top of the train. That aggression is forced back. That was Elsa, who's brought down to 12 HP, and now it's just Daps. He's got 2 players coming out Ivy behind him, but he's probably not aware of this, and there's Ruru with that first kill. Daps cannot clean up Ocean either. So the outside train yard is lost, and Ruru has grabbed an angle out of the choke point. He does get dropped by Stan, but that's just not enough. It's just a scout here. Have to hit some pretty incredible shots to bring this one back, and that nade does decent damage, down to 42 HP. AGG is going to get this bomb planted eventually, although scary situation. The bomb is dropped in bathrooms, and I mean, if they drop this now, 10 seconds left, he's got to hustle to the bomb site. He is going to get it, but I mean, just imagine if that was just 2 seconds later. That's pretty... Oh, man.
Again,
why not?
Chaos remains a factor for AGG, and now it's just Rush. Apologies. He managed to pick up a scout, but I don't think he realized on the other side of a train there's someone else. However, Els, with a wild peek out of nowhere, is going to give away his life. Twist, though, quick enough on the draw. Manages to trade that back before any other damage is done, but AGG is still losing a lot of their players. So the economy that's been built up on players like Ruru is going to start to dwindle away here pretty quickly. OpTic, though, still have not been able to pick up another round in the past 3, so they're not in the safety territory just as of yet.
The good thing for AGG is all the rounds that they lost, the 3 rounds they've lost in this half, were all plants. So they got all the bonus money. That's why they've been able to buy, you know, throughout this half more often than not. This time, finally, OpTic has all the equipment they would like. And look at this. Aggressive hulls push again. Rush is going to get boosted up to peer over the smoke. Nade comes out, deals a little bit of damage, but that might be a little bit of an indication there was some kind of aggression.
And now the rest of the members from AGG here, just sitting back, lining up that default, getting ready to push themselves in. But OpTic, I think they realize that this is happening now. They've got Rush pressed up to that position, sitting up on top. That little box there, sitting at the Ivy approach. However, he's going to get mollied out, so he's got to fall back. That's a perfectly placed molly, but unfortunately does not do a lot of damage. Now the nade comes back out, and that might end up being a huge amount of damage, which it does. Rue down to 79, invert at 56. They've also got 3 players in the site itself, too. One of them, Shazam, a very quick rotate away when they decide to commit to this. But this is the problem for AGG, is they've been playing it very slow, as they haven't committed to it as of yet. Now everything's falling back, and I think they're moving away from this default to instead just go for basically an all-in through T-connector is what it looks like it's going to be here in a moment.
They've used a lot of utility as well. Only one Molotov on Stanislaw. No smokes. It's just that one Molotov and all flashbangs for the OpTic team. This Molotov will more than likely be used maybe on ladder room when the smokes do come over. Yep, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Stanislaw drops that. There's only one player in ladder room, or yeah, only one player in ladder room, so that's not really going to do too much. Twist is getting very aggressive down these lanes, but gets caught in an awkward crossfire. Stan finds him before being traded off by Ruru, who finds Naf as well in hell. This defense for OpTic has not been strong. Shazam even misses a shot on top of the train. And now it's a retake situation, but OpTic might want to just save this if they can't find a pick, but Shazam, he gets a good quick shot onto Ocean, who gets aggressive, and now it's on.
And now Invert falling back, taking a little bit of heat back down over there through the short alleyway, and Shazam finding another hot shot. Els, though, just lining them up. Daps and Shazam both fall down. Now it's a 1 versus 1 here. Rush, he needs to pressure this. He doesn't have any utility to make this happen safely, though. Trying to blind fire into Rush, and now the peak comes out, but he's looking down at the ground, not even defusing the bomb in the process. That's going to hurt now as Els shuts him out, and AGG pick up yet another round, 5 more away from tying the game up.
Yeah, things get very hectic for OpTic in that situation. Shazam just kind of flying by the seat of his pants there, lines up with Daps. That allows Elsa to spray them both down. So not a whole lot of patience in that 3-on-1, and Elsa's able to get away with a miraculous win, and all of a sudden, I mean, AGG looks like they're starting to grab some momentum. Their money still isn't great, but they've won 4 in a row now, and OpTic doesn't seem to have any kind of great answer in these gun rounds.
And L just pushing down the short alley here, too. Going to try to catch Shazam off guard. It's actually not even really going to be needed. Shazam's relocating himself. Twist has already found an opening kill over here on a stand, but Shazam wrapping on the corner. He spotted that Molly, trying to let up the headshot, and he grabs it, catches the trade on this one. Catches a lock on an invert there, too, but doesn't actually want to peek out enough to be able to fully execute him. And there's 3 players very, very quietly trying to find their way outside the ladder room, and they're going to move out for it now. Rush picking up 1 kill, but then Els and Ocean trade it right back. Daps having a response to this one, and oh no, invert somehow missing that shot. I think he moved at just the wrong point. Thankfully, though, switching over to the pistol and finishing off the second player behind him. It's just Daps left alive now, and he's stuck in between a rock and a hard place, essentially. Manages to find an AK, and now he's just going to run away to save.
He's being chased right now, though, and that is also with another AK-47. I think Daps is probably going to die with the bomb anyways. It's a nice headshot. Oh, he just gets far enough away. Only takes 2 damage. So nice find for that AK-47. They have the full losing bonus, so it's not a huge issue either way, but that's going to help in the future. And now it looks like Naf spot the AWP, and that's okay. That's the thing. That one AK-47, Daps drops the AWP over to Shazam, so a double op setup comes out for the CT side. This is the switch up they want to make. And it's going to be a little bit tough to deal with the executions that have been coming out for AGG. With 2 ops, they're going to be very smoked out, so they need to find a pick early on.
And the Twists, along with, I said the Twist along with his teammate now pushing back over here towards ladder room. Again, it's that default that's been set up. They've got the bomb set pretty far back now, just watching out for extra aggression coming down Ivy, which is odd considering we haven't really seen like just an outright push. So I'm not sure if this op is in really the correct position to try and abuse the members of OpTic. However, they are pushing back inside of T-connector, which is where there's a pretty big concentration of the members of Team AGG, but they don't actually stick to it. They're just going to move in to try and clear out the usual area. Then they'll fall back now and take up usual positions for the CTs.
Yeah, Stan very aggressive towards the ladder room. Big switch in the defense. The ops are still very far back. Naf watching Ivy, and he's actually going to pop flash himself into a peek. Doesn't commit to it, though. All 5 members of AGG are over towards Whitehall's and these stairs towards the inner bomb site. Now the bomb is on Ocean, and he's going to come up and meet up with them. So it looks like eventually this will be an inside hit. Ruru maybe just a lurker here in middle. And you can see just in time Shazam rotating back. He drops a Molotov on that lower ramp. 30 seconds left. There goes Ruru. Rush finds him, trying to be the point man on the attack, but it fails. So now it's all on this inner hit.
Now they know exactly what's happening here. Shazam already picked up the first kill on a Twist. They have smoke coverage, so they should be able to get the bomb down at the very least, but Naf missing a connection to Els. Els counting his lucky stars that he's still alive. Invert actually finding one pickup for himself, but he's traded out, and again, it's just down to Els, and he's basically just trying to hold them back as long as he can. He'll be shut up by Naf on the op shot. Already well on their way to the defuse at this point, too, so they're going to pick up another round here for the side of OpTic. Now they sit at match point, and although it's been a good attempt from AGG to make a comeback, and of course they'll actually, they'll still be able to buy, as of course they'll be forcing it. Most players should be able to get exactly what they need. But going back to my point, ultimately, this is what it comes down to, is that they gave OpTic such a huge lead in the first half, and now they're still 5 rounds behind. Meanwhile, OpTic only needs to close out one more to win this.
Well, these last 3 rounds in a row for AGG have been, 2 members survive, 1 member survive, and then 1 member survive. So they've lost so many players. That's why you see that was a 5-round win streak, and all of a sudden they lose 1, and it's going to be a very sketchy buy situation. They can have Invert can get an AWP with light armor or an AK-47 and full armor, but everyone other than that is going to be heavily pressed to have any kind of utility behind whatever they buy, unless they go for a Tech 9. So really nicely done from OpTic on their ecos, just managing the economy, making sure they can grind them down. And it does circle back to your point. Such a good first half. That's one of the ways they can win in terms of money, by just grinding down their opponent, and that's exactly what they've done here.
So now I assume the pause, of course, is coming in from AGG, just trying to figure out how exactly they want to go across this buy, and how exactly they want to strategically try and approach this here too, as they might be out of options here if they can't innovate and try to catch a surprise on OpTic there to shut them down and start them from gaining points again. This is another thing too, is for OpTic at least, you look at their money, they're nowhere near stable. The only player that really has a good thing going for himself is going to be Shazam at 5.8k, so he would really be the only player that'd be able to fully rebuy. And if they did decide to force up after that, they would have to drop. They still have a pretty comfortable lead at 15-10, so more than likely they could just go for a couple saves after that rebuy, but it does keep that gap a little bit closer. And if AGG can pick up at least this round, they still might have a chance to bring it very, very close at the very least.
Well, here's the tough part for AGG. That strategy that's been working for them in this win streak, in this comeback, has been that outside execution, that wall of smokes at the outside train. They only have 2 smokes to work with in this round, so they can't even do that tactic even if they wanted to. They're going to have to change things up. Out of that default, they're going to have to be able to find a pick with the AWP of Invert. A lot is going to be on his shoulders to give him an advantage.
Now we're just waiting for that unpause to come in. They've already gone for the full buy, just waiting on them to finish up whatever they were strategizing, and it looks like they're ready to rock and roll now. So here we go with what could possibly be the final round. OpTic Gaming are into the teeth. They've got all the utility, all the pistols, all of the main weapons that they could ever want to use in this round. As for AGG, we should mention too, Daps actually, because he said to go for a rebuy and he didn't get dropped, Daps actually still does not have armor in this round. I don't think he had armor in the last round either. It's gone for the utility buy over the armor.
This time, they're not even messing around with that default, and this is what happens. They switch things up. They've been so patient and cautious this whole half, and they change it up on the most important round of all of them, and they immediately drop 2 players. 1 to Naf with the AWP and 1 to Rush with the AK-47, so huge advantage now for OpTic Gaming. You can see it at the outside bomb site. They're just sitting far back. They're going to be able to rotate quickly towards that inner site when this hit does come in. This is pretty much all they have left, but there goes Ocean as well. Naf gets a second. That is the bomb as well. Now everyone starts to rotate in, and Naf can just keep eyes on it. Not even a smoke for the AGG team to use. This is like worst case scenario. They do have an op, but Naf's just going to win it out. It's all over for AGG. It was a nice attempt at the comeback, but it is going to be, what, 16-10, I believe it was?
Yep. 16-10 is going to be the final score for map number 1 here on Train.